Mitch Miller here again at the distillery, and again, www.plotm.com. Both times I left Europe, I had 5 USB drives with copies of the book I had mentioned before with me to give to people. Was ready to make that announcement at any point. What I did when I came to Copenhagen in July is I took a bunch of the original interviews I did that so offended the United States or whoever. I took those down under the belief that maybe some politicians or someone would talk to me. So that never happened. I do have the original DVC tapes for those interviews, and I have all the original interviews handwritten down with me. They can be reproduced and recreated for any of the art galleries that I reached out to, thousands of art galleries that would be interested in doing an exhibition with my art. I have those interviews, and we could show those in a closed format. But what I want to do now is I did take one short story off because no female investors really contacted me, but I was operating again under the idea that maybe it had like a kind of a quirky idea for a politician, so I thought maybe they might want it hidden off of there for some reason. I don't know, but I am going to put that back up. But I do want to prove that, I said I wouldn't advise politicians or political leaders, but I'm happy to spring ideas for the underdog politicians, because I think that's what politics is about. And I don't think it doesn't make sense to me to give strategic advice to these political leaders that can hire huge staffs to work out strategy with corporate whoever or whatever. But I'm happy to work with local and municipal people on ideas, or just talk to them, have dinner, let them read a story, and see if it springs any type of idea, and let it go from there. Because initially I am an artist. So we're here at the distillery, and this is just one idea I came up with. I've noticed it's a college town. This society supports college students, and they get to go for free, which is fine. But I just look at things from a small community aspect. They also take very good care of the homeless. I'm conjecturing, but I believe this is because this used to be kind of a shipping area, and you had a lot of drifter, probably drunken sailors coming in, could pick up piecemeal work every once in a while, and might spend a week or two just getting soused here in town. And the people of the town kind of decided that maybe we should take care of these guys, because they do spend a little tax money or money in here at the hotels and stuff, and then they drift out. So some of them are going to buy hotel rooms, some of them might have to crash at the homeless shelter because the hotels don't want to deal with them. But whatever. So that's again, I'm conjecturing. Before what I've noticed in 2016. A lot of debris and garbage on the streets on the weekends, mostly from the college students partying it up, and it just it makes me wonder what do the locals think. I haven't really been able to interview them. I don't have any contacts here to interview them, but these older people, how do they feel when they walk around and kind of see night after these college students partying hard and stuff like that? I kind of have an idea, but again, it goes back to the question of whether they're going to, kind of bring that economy and keep the economy here going. So, and to that note, in the library where it just was, I overheard a conversation between 2 students talking about implementing the unskilled locals into the tourist some kind of project about tourism, unskilled locals. I look around at these older people and think, you build all these nice buildings in cobblestone, you have these shipyards and stuff like that. I don't know how many locals are really that unskilled. You just got to ask them what their skills actually were. Anyway, this is a government type of program that I have in my back of my head already for help with any type of municipal person. So we have our distillery here, right? So we made our argument that the church or the state have always kind of used alcohol to bring people around to certain things. That argument can be made in the United States. I know for a fact that back in the day, early democracy, you used to be able to get a shot for a vote and, do stuff like that, in major cities where you got beer. So we have our distillery. I'm thinking of all the homeless people or the homeless shelters or the vagrants. One thing I would say is, you have these high-ranking business people who grew up in a society where they were blessed to be able to learn how to read, and you have such a large population on this planet that can't read. And even the vagrants and the homeless people in these societies, they can read. So, is it fair that these masters of capital can read Wall Street Journal every morning, and they never had to read the book 1984 or any other type of literature that's been warning people about these situations for years? Is that okay? No, not in my opinion. I'm just going to show this decorative pillar again. I don't think I got a good shot of it, but you can see the reliefs on that. But you have these vagrants, you have these homeless people, right? So we have our distillery over there, and we have our archives around the corner. So, what I was thinking is, while you still have these archives, why not develop something where, hey, guess what? You get a beer if you read 5 documents from the local archive. And then we all get together at the homeless shelter at the end of the night and talk about Article 539 and see where our local articles went sour or whatever, what the heck, we're just hanging out, living off of whatever here. So, hey, could we get a shot? And I'll read a couple articles from 1972 and 1978, and what they're sitting there, they're old archival articles. So that's just kind of an idea of ways you could kind of do the same thing they used to do. But just to check up on the government or see where things go wrong, or just get people to read paper documents. I think it's an interesting concept. Could be an interesting program. From what I've observed, a lot of these guys are getting pretty drunk anyway and just kind of crashing out. So, why not kind of incentivize that, or make a little bit of a meal program or something like that around that, even with as far as, exactly. That's, so that's just a little thing I was thinking. We're showing our archival building here. So, open up the archives and read some documents and see what kind of creativity springs out of these places when the guys have a couple beers and maybe don't get tanked to the point where they pass out in the homeless shelter, but you slow their drinking in a way, and you see what kind of weird conversations happen, because even the employees there might hear guys talking about some weird clause in 1968, and then that spurs them to write a whole novel about something crazy. Let's get some creativity infused into our cultures again, and so that's what I'm all about. I'm happy to talk about that with anyone, but I am going to put my little short story back up, and like I said, yeah, thanks. Mitch Miller, Masonic Storyteller, signing off.